Okay, so we're going to go on a test drive in the restored Blue Series Land Rover. The Land Rover has Defender seatbelts, which are really convenient. So to start the Land Rover, you turn the ignition on and you pull the choke out. And this is the starter button down here. So you just press that and it'll start right up. For reverse, there's a gate here that you can feel that has pressure on it, so you just push it against the gate and go forward. Now if it doesn't slide right in, you could release the clutch a little bit, but not all the way, and it'll pop right into gear. And that goes with first as well. Okay, so now we'll back out and we'll go on a test drive to show all the features of the Land Rover and how to operate it. So back into first, so you'll know it's first because you'll hit that gate. So when you're up against that gate, the reverse gate, it's a spring-loaded gate, so you just push it forward from there, and then release the clutch slowly. You take the clutch, you could take the choke off a little bit if it's a warm day. And this is a fully synchronized transmission, so you can shift it into second just like a normal vehicle. You don't need to double clutch it. Take the choke off a little more since it's warm out today. So when we first started it, you saw that the lights were on. So this is your oil pressure light and your charge light. So you want to make sure those lights go out when it's started. So if those stay on, then we have a problem with the oil pressure or the charging. So turn the turn signal on, and this is the original type turn signal that has a little wheel to cancel it when you go around a turn. And then when you're coming up to a stoplight, you don't want to downshift into first until you're at a pretty slow speed. So I'm in third here, and now I'm in second, and now I'm in first when I'm almost at a complete stop. I wouldn't want to put it in first if you're driving above 5 miles an hour. Okay, so let's make a turn here. So you can see the turn signal self-cancel, and there's a green light on here that flashes when the turn signal is flashing. Okay, and then for ventilation, you can open these vent flaps. It's a little cool out today, so we'll leave them closed. And then if you wanted to turn the heater on, the controls are down here for the heater. So you can see down here, there's a switch for the blower, and this is for the valve for the coolant. So when you push this in, it lets warm water from the engine flow through the heater core. So this is essentially turning your heater on, and then the switch blows the hot air through the heater core into the cab. So we'll leave that off, and we'll leave the heater in the off position for now, since it's not that cold out. So now we're driving along pretty good. So we're in fourth gear, and we can engage the overdrive when we get to about 50. So you notice that you could shift it just like you were shifting into fifth gear, but we're actually coming to a little bit of a hill, so we'll downshift it just like we are shifting the main gear lever from between gears. So now we're back into the disengaged position, and this can be shifted in any gear. So if we were in third and we needed a gear between third and fourth, we could engage the overdrive to combine different gear, to make different gear ratios. And then the things that you want to look at when you're driving it, you want to keep an eye on your coolant temperature and your oil pressure, which are combined into one gauge here. So your temperature, your coolant temperature is in Celsius. So you want it to be around 80 degrees Celsius. And your oil pressure is in pounds, and you want that to be at speed like this, 60 pounds of oil pressure is excellent. You don't want it to be down to at speed to less than 30. All right, so now we're moving along good again, so I'm going to engage the overdrive. So you push the clutch in and you shift it forward just like you were shifting the transmission gear lever. So now we're going along nice. So the speedometer says we're doing about 55, but because of the taller tire size, we're actually doing more like 60 or 62 or somewhere like that. The tire size creates a discrepancy with the speedometer. So we're going along really good. If it were raining, you turn your wipers on this way, you disengage the arm, and then you turn the switch. And that's how we get our wipers working. Cut that off. Cut that off. Drives really good though. This is a really nice driving truck. Your headlights and parking lights are here. So the S is your parking lights and the H is headlights. And to turn your gauge lights on, you pull this. If you needed to charge a cell phone, you could use this. And so this is an adapter that will convert your military style power point to a normal 12-volt cigarette lighter type that you could charge a cell phone from. So you just want to make sure that the red wire is on the red terminal. If you have it backwards, it could damage your cell phone charger. And you could just charge your cell phone here or on the tray here. And when you don't need it, you could just simply remove it. And this is for your heater control valve. So this lets hot coolant from the engine circulate into the heater core. So by pushing that in, you're letting the hot coolant enter the heater core, and then the blower motor will blow the air from the outside through that heater core and warm the interior. So this is the position you want this to be in if you wanted the interior to be warmed. And on the heater box itself, we have our lever for the defroster. And you can open these to allow heat and to divert heat out to the driver and passenger. And then that's the off position there with this pulled out. So to engage four-wheel drive, you need to come out here and you need to lock the hubs. So you'll see the hub says 4x2 or 4x4, and you just want to turn it from 4x2 into 4x4, and you need to do that on both sides. Okay, so both sides are locked into 4x4, so now we're going to go back inside and we'll engage the 4x4 lever. Okay, so to engage four-wheel drive, first we'll start it. So you simply push down the yellow knob, and now you're in four-wheel drive. To disengage four-wheel drive, you pull it back into low range, and then back into high range. So you have your ranges here on this plaque. So you have high range, neutral, and low range. So this is indicating this shifter here. So this is high range, this is neutral, and that's low range. So when we're in low range, you don't need to push this plunger down to engage four-wheel drive. And actually, here, Sophie, if you film, I'll show low range. I'll demonstrate it. So you can see those are situations where you'll want to use the low range because it's able to creep without spinning the tires and without having to slip the clutch. It'll be able to creep up hills and go over obstacles. So whenever the ground isn't flat and where you have to go really slow, that's when you'd want to engage the low range, and it works really well in these. So now we're not going to be in four-wheel drive anymore, so we'll turn this to 4x2. And I'll show you some of the features on the outside. So the door locks, actually it uses one key to lock all the doors. So this is one of the features that we've added. So to lock the door, to unlock it, and this works in the ignition as well. The windows slide, both the front and the back windows slide, so they have dual sliding glass. The tailgate in the back has these anti-loose pins to close it. So you just pop these up and then the tailgate comes down like this. And these are stainless steel, so these won't rust. Then you have your elephant hide chain covers to match the upholstery. And everything here is galvanized, so none of this will rust. All of the fasteners are galvanized, so all the fasteners on the exterior are galvanized, and then any of the screws are stainless steel, so any of these little screws. So you shouldn't have any corrosion on any of the exterior fasteners. And then to close it, just want to make sure the chains don't get caught. Just push these down until it clicks. And that's your tailgate. So under the hood, the main things that you need to take a look at are your dipstick here to check your oil. So that's right here on the side of the engine. During the change of seasons, you may need to change your idle mixture or up your idle or lower your idle occasionally, because there's no computer controlling the engine on this, so you need to make those decisions yourself. Your spare tire is mounted on the hood, and there's two galvanized bolts that hold it down here, so you could remove it if you needed. Okay, and then for storage, there's no glove box or really any place to store documents or anything, so you'll probably keep them under your driver's side seat. So this seat comes up like this, and so you can see it sits down in these little detents here, and you pull that out, and then under the seat is a storage box. So that's where you could store a toolkit, or you know, if you keep your registration and stuff wrapped up in a bag, it'll stay nice and clean in there. But that's really your only storage. There's no other glove box or any place to store things. And then the seat base goes back in and drops into those detents. And you have your Defender style seat belts here, which are really convenient to put on and work great compared to the old style seat belts. The VIN number to the vehicle is down here on the bulkhead, so this is your VIN number or vehicle identification number down here.